under this options section. So it's a lot of times overlooked about how important when you hit the new email, this is the only place you can find this option tab. That's important to realize. You might kind of go, well, I can't find it here. That's because it's not a new email, and that's the reason why it won't show up. So you have to have the new email, and then you can go to options section here, and you have some of these cool options here. Okay. So this is where you can do some neat stuff like blind carbon copy. Some people feel that blind carbon copying is unethical. That is up for debate about how you want to do it, but you just check this little box here, and blind carbon copying shows up. What does that mean,
what is
Kaylee?
that?
Yeah, so I can send an email to Kaylee, and I can carbon copy or copy a friend. Like I could send it to Jackie, and I could send it to Kaylee, right? But maybe I'm like, I really do want to let Sean know about it, but I don't want them to know that Sean is on this email.
Right.
Now, maybe you have some reasons to do that. Sometimes it might just be that
Sneaky.
Yeah, maybe it might be your manager, or maybe it might be the gatekeeper of your organization, right? You're corresponding with someone who's trying to sell the owner of something, and you're like, I don't want them to know exactly what the email address is of that person.
That's a great point. Yeah.
You know, so you can carbon copy the boss on it, and then email the salesperson, but they're not going to see that they were copied on it. So BCC is really nice, and to turn it off, you just check it; it goes away.
Right.
What's the from column? What do you think that's for?
I'm not sure. Does it say that it's from you to people?
Yes. So the from is exactly that. See, it shows from me.
What is that? For admins, does it change the view?
No. So for admins, like let's say that you're my admin, right? And you're taking care of and doing things. Maybe I want you to send emails as me. I said, hey, Kaylee, send an email to this person at requesting this set up a thing. You can do a from and pick someone else to send the email as. Now, you can't just start doing this willy-nilly. You have to set it up in Office to allow for those permissions, and we can help anybody that needs to have that access. It's not turned on by default. You have to enable that feature, but it's very helpful for admins.
Yes.
Now, sometimes if you in certain situations, it can show, let me just phrase this, sent on behalf of, that message sometimes will show up. So if you're really wanting to make sure that they think it came from you, then this field may not be for you. But if it's okay that they might see that it was being sent by Kaylee on behalf of me,
right,
this field is okay. But this gets used all the time, especially in churches, law firms, places that have gatekeepers, office assistants and people like that, as they're sending as the people they're working on, is really, really very helpful. So in a situation, you could send it from so-and-so, right? And then I could then, let's say I sent it as Jackie, right? And then I wanted to make sure Jackie got a copy of what it is. I can do that. Now, it will not show up in Jackie's sent items. So it's not going to do that. So she can't just go in there and go, oh, let me look at what emails that so-and-so sent. Because I sent it, not her. But so that's why sometimes you CC them so that they can kind of see that this message was sent as you.
Now, Greg has a great question. Does the person receiving the BCC know that they're getting it blind?
No. Well, great question. You have to be a little sleuthful. So you go and you look at the email message and you're like, I don't see me in the CC and I don't see myself in the 2. Oh, I was BCC'd. That is the only way that you'll know. There's not like a little header. It says blind carbon copy.
Yeah.
Great
That's
question.
A great question.
Yeah, that would be nice to know. Hey, by the way, this got slipped to you kind of, through the blind carbon, but no.
Yeah, you have to look at the 2s and CCs, and if you're not on there, then you just know that you're in the group that shall not be named.
That's right. That's right. A little etiquette. It is kind of considered bad form doing CC. It's kind of like talking about someone in certain situations. So
BCC?
Yeah. Blind carbon copies.
Now I use it for marketing because not everybody wants to know everybody's emails, So if you can tell by now how you guys got the invite to this whole thing, I BCC'd all of you on the
Right.
email that I sent
Great
because
point.
I didn't want any of you guys to have your information leaked to another client when you don't want to. So that it can be rude, but it also, depending on how you're using it, can be
Yes.
thoughtful.
Yeah, it is.
So
Great point, Kaylee. I can't tell you how many times I've been on church email lists that it's like,
yes.
the youth pastor just sends out an email to all the parents
Oh
and
my,
all the
they all
kids.
have their
Yeah,
emails.
all the parents and all the kids, like, oh man, there's got to be some legal implications there that just isn't good,
Right,
You should use BCC in that scenario.
right.
It'll look a little weird because what happens is there's just nothing in the two. It's just, how did I get this email? So that
Right.
kind of goes back to what Greg was saying. It's like, how did I get this email? Because I'm not in the two and I'm not in the CC, and the answer is blind carbon copy. But there's a lot of situations where that is extremely helpful in those scenarios, because you just, like Kaylee said, you just don't want to leak information out. Speaking of leaking information, let's say that I had a social security number, and it's 52 or 9242,
Sending my
whatever.
routing number to someone.
Yeah, and the accounting, blah 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 blah. I'm gonna click here, and I'm gonna say I'm gonna encrypt this email message right here. So now it's an email encrypted only. So if I send this, and I'm gonna turn the from off because that's kind of annoying. And I'm gonna send it to Kaylee, and I hit send. Subject. Very sensitive. And I can't spell. All right. Okay. Sensitive. There we go. Send. So I sent that to you. Kaylee, you should get in a second.
Yes. Let me see. Oh, bidding. I got it.
Okay.
And it does say encrypt. This message is encrypted.
Right. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Can you share yours if it's okay?
Yes, will do. All right. This is what it looks like right here.
Yeah. So go ahead. Yeah. So the only hint that she has that it's encrypted is it says encrypted. This message is encrypted. The recipient cannot remove the encryption. So she can't remove it. So if she replies back, the message is going to still be encrypted. So go ahead and reply back. Yeah, it says encrypted. So then you just say test or whatever and hit send.
Oh no. My look at this. My thing's not typing.
Oh no.
Oh no. Do you know what? Trick. I'll send you an emoji.
Yeah, it's a heart. Oh, thank you. That's a very sensitive heart.
Here you go, Dad.
Yeah, thanks. All right, so let me go ahead and take sharing again.
All right, I guess I'll stop.
You're so selfish.
I hope no one saw the heart emojis.
All right, so now I'm going to share my screen again. And here. So you see my screen?
I do.
Okay, so I'm going to open up your heart emoji, but see how it still says encrypted? It doesn't really look different.
No, it
right?
doesn't. It looks the same.
It looks pretty much the same. It is encrypted. I can guarantee you it is. Why doesn't it seem very intrusive? You have an answer?
No. Why doesn't it?
Because we're sending it inside the organization. So it's encrypting the traffic as it's transferring between us, but it's still happening in Office 365, and it's happening inside our container, so our organization. So it's very transparent. So I can send encrypted information internally, and it's like super sensitive and very, and if I do that, it's also very easy, and there's no, let me set up some third-party app to do it.
Right.
I can send it externally. I can forward encrypted emails to external addresses, and I can do that, and I'll do that to my Yahoo account. What does that do? It's a little more involved. I don't want to go into a lot of detail about that, but outside the organization, what happens is they get two choices. If it's a 365 account or an account that Microsoft can authenticate that they trust, a major
Yes.
vendor like Gmail and stuff, you can basically, the user can just authenticate who they are because 365 trusts them. As long as they log in as their email address and password, they'll be able to see the email. If it's
Yes.
some other third-party type products or organizations of email, it may say, you know, I don't really have a way of verifying who you are. I need you to click this link, and I will send you a code. And what that user has to do is it will then send another email with a code. They take that code, they paste it in there, and it works. So what does that mean? If you're going to send an encrypted email outside your organization, I suggest you just play with it a little bit so that you can prepare the person that you're sending the email to so they kind of understand the rules of engagement when you go to send it. That's all.
Great point.
It's very easy to do. It's not complicated, but if you haven't given them a warning about the rules of engagement, they might get lost in the weeds because they're like, what's going on? I don't know what's happening. So you can say, oh, I'm sending this information via encryption. It may be like a situation like maybe it's at a church and you need everybody to send you their driver's license because they're going to be renting a van. Okay.
That's a great one. Yeah.
So you can say, you know what, I'm going to send this email to everybody encrypted, and then they can reply back to the email and confidently attach the items, and it will come back encrypted, and you don't have to worry about them sending information. I can't tell you how many people are like, hey, send me the account information. You're like, what, are you out of your mind? You know, emails are like postcards, right? Would I write something like a social security and very sensitive information to a postcard and just drop it in the mail? No, because anybody who looks at that can read it, okay? It's not that simple for email, but there just really is no native encryption on that to prevent that happening in some situations. So to be compliant, especially if you're sending information, you want to use encryption, and that's where you do it. So you do it under the options section. Notice there's no options tab here because I'm not doing a new email. I'm looking at an existing.
Oh, great point.
So, but that's kind of how it works. Pretty cool. It's a little bit more of an advanced feature. Now, not everybody is going to have that encryption option. You have to have the right license in Office 365 to do that.
Yes.
And a lot of you guys, we have started moving to those licenses, and we've been having those discussions with you. But if you don't have that encryption, have a conversation with us, and we can help you have it.